On the drive, rising up and takes him to the boom room. Richards looks across, Book sets, fires. Suns scoring history has been booked. 10 years in the making. A record that stood for 30 years.
Big news just dropped out of the desert, and it's sending shockwaves through the NBA. Devin Booker, the Phoenix Suns' homegrown superstar and the face of their franchise, has officially agreed to a 2-year contract extension worth a staggering $145 million. That's right, $72.5 million per year, setting a new record for the highest average annual salary for an extension in league history. The deal was first reported on July 10th, with trusted sources like Shams Charania, ESPN, and the NBA's own official site confirming the numbers almost instantly. If you're wondering what that means for Phoenix, it locks Booker in through the 2029-30 NBA season, giving the franchise some much-needed security as they reshape their roster and their future plans. Over on the Suns' official social media, the announcement was simple but powerful. A photo of Booker in that iconic purple and orange, captioned, "Staying in the Valley Red Hearts." It's short, sweet, and exactly what Suns fans wanted to hear. Within minutes, thousands of likes, retweets, and comments flooded in. Team owner Matt Ishbia released a short statement too, calling Booker the heart and soul of the franchise and promising that this is just one move in a larger plan to build a true contender around him. New GM Brian Gregory echoed that, saying this extension was the top priority the minute last season ended. If you've been following the Suns, you know how big this is. Booker has become more than just an elite scorer. He's the Suns' leader, the bridge from the dark rebuilding years to the excitement of a finals run in 2021. For a team that's seen plenty of stars come and go, from Charles Barkley to Steve Nash to Kevin Durant, having a player who wants to stick around for his entire prime is something special. This news didn't exactly come out of nowhere. There were rumors swirling for weeks that the Suns were pushing to lock Booker in before training camp, especially after the massive changes to their roster this summer. But few expected the numbers to reach this level. A 2-year deal might seem short, but when you're giving a player $145 million, you're making a loud statement. This is our guy, this is our future. Up next, let's rewind a bit and look at why Booker's relationship with Phoenix has been so special from day one, and why this new extension feels like more than just dollars on paper. To really understand why this extension is such a big deal, you have to rewind the clock almost a decade, back to 2015, when a 19-year-old Devin Booker was drafted 13th overall by the Phoenix Suns. Back then, he wasn't a guaranteed superstar. He came out of Kentucky with questions about whether he'd be more than just a spot-up shooter. Well, safe to say, those questions have been answered, and then some. Booker didn't waste any time making his mark. Even during those rough early seasons, when the Suns were stuck in the lottery year after year, he showed flashes of what he could be. Who could forget that unforgettable night in March 2017, when Booker dropped 70 points against the Celtics at just 20 years old? He became the youngest player since Kobe Bryant to hit that kind of number. It was an early glimpse of the superstar mentality that would become his trademark. When the Suns finally turned things around in 2020 and 2021, Booker was at the center of it all. He helped lead the team, alongside Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton, to their first NBA Finals appearance since 1993. They fell short against Giannis and the Bucks, but that run reignited basketball in the Valley. It reminded fans why Phoenix was once one of the league's most electric basketball cities. And then, in February this year, Booker cemented himself in Suns history again, passing Alvin Adams as the franchise's all-time leading scorer. No small feat considering the greats who have worn that jersey. He's racked up multiple All-Star nods, an All-NBA first-team selection, and remains one of the league's most respected pure scorers. But it's not just the stats, it's the loyalty. This new deal marks Booker's third extension with Phoenix. That's almost unheard of in an era where stars bounce from team to team in search of instant rings. Even when Kevin Durant came and went, when the roster shifted and the front office flipped, Booker made it clear, this is my city. He's embraced Phoenix off the court too, whether it's his charity work, community appearances, or that quiet swagger that fits the Valley's vibe. He's not just a star, he's the Suns' identity, their bridge between the past and the future. And now, with this extension, Devin Booker is putting pen to paper to say he wants to be here for the next chapter too. But for Phoenix, giving him the bag is only step one. Up next, let's break down the eye-watering numbers and what they mean for the Suns and the league. Alright, let's talk about what everyone's thinking, the money. Because when you see headlines saying, Devin Booker signs for $145 million for just 2 years. It makes you pause for a second. So, what's really behind these numbers? And why does it make sense for both sides? First, the basics. Booker's new extension is worth $145 million over 2 years. That works out to an average of $72.5 million per season, the highest annual average value for an extension in NBA history. The only other player close is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who just signed for around $71 million per year with the Thunder. This is the reality of the modern NBA. The salary cap keeps climbing, driven by massive TV deals and global growth. The league's revenue is projected to hit record highs over the next few years, which means star salaries are going up right alongside it. Back in the early 2000s, Steve Nash, one of the Suns' greatest players ever, made about $146 million over his entire 18-year career. Booker is about to match that in just 2 seasons. That stat alone blew up on Reddit within minutes of the news dropping. From the Suns' perspective, this is about more than just rewarding Booker for what he's done. It's about controlling their own future. If Booker had hit unrestricted free agency in 2027, there would have been a frenzy of teams ready to break the bank. By extending him now, Phoenix avoids a bidding war and keeps their franchise player happy and under contract. There's also a strategic reason the deal is just 2 years. Booker and his agents are betting on the salary cap rising again soon. A short extension means he can sign another megadeal at an even higher number when the new TV money hits. It's the same strategy LeBron James and Kevin Durant have used for years. Short deals, maximum leverage. For Phoenix, this means the team will likely spend up to, or above, the luxury tax, but they're fine with that. They're basically saying, if we're paying anyone superstar money, it's Booker. They just cleared big salary slots by trading Kevin Durant, so the math works, for now. Of course, paying one player this much puts huge pressure on the front office to build wisely around him. The Suns can't afford to miss on draft picks or overpay role players. The window to win is now, and expensive. So yes, the number is massive, but in the NBA's new economy, this is the cost of locking up a franchise superstar. And with the money committed, the real question is, what's the plan to build a contender around him? Next up, let's dig into the Suns' dramatic roster overhaul and how they're trying to build a new era around Booker's prime. Chapter 4. New Era, New Core, the Suns' off-season reset. So, the Suns have their superstar locked in. But what about everyone around him? That's where things get really interesting. Because this extension didn't happen in a vacuum, it came on the heels of one of the most dramatic off-seasons the Suns have had in years. Let's rewind a bit. After their disappointing playoff exit last season, Phoenix's front office made a clear choice. This roster needed a reset. And the biggest move? Trading Kevin Durant. The KD era in Phoenix turned out to be short-lived. Injuries, depth issues, and clunky fit problems meant the super team dream never fully materialized. So, the Suns dealt Durant in a massive multi-team trade that brought back a haul of young talent and future flexibility. The centerpiece of that deal was Jalen Green, a high-scoring guard who's still only 23 but has shown flashes of all-star potential. Alongside him came defensive-minded wing Dillon, a player with a reputation for toughness and a little drama. The Suns also picked up Khaman Maluach, an athletic rookie big man out of Duke who projects as a defensive anchor with huge upside if he develops fast. But it wasn't just the roster that got a facelift. Phoenix cleaned house in the front office too. They promoted Brian Gregory to general manager and hired Jordan Ott, a young coach with a reputation for developing players and building team culture, as their new head coach. Rumor has it Booker had a strong voice in these hires, showing just how much sway he now holds within the organization. The message here is clear. The Suns are pivoting from a star-heavy, top-loaded roster to a more balanced, youthful core built around Booker's prime. They've seen that just stacking all-stars doesn't guarantee a ring. Not when injuries, egos, and depth issues derail your plan. So now, they're betting on hungry young talent and a franchise player who can lead by example. But this new path comes with its own risks. Can Jalen Green take the next step to become a reliable number 2 option? Will Dillon be more asset than headache? Can a rookie like Maluach contribute right away in the Western Conference, which is loaded with big men like Jokic and Wembanyama? One thing's for sure, the Suns are putting all their chips on Booker to be the steadying force through this transition. His extension sends a signal to teammates old and new. This is his team. Now help him make it a contender again. So how does all this sit with fans and pundits? That's a conversation full of hot takes, and we're about to get into it next. What fans and experts are saying. Whenever a superstar signs a mega extension, you can bet the internet will have something to say, and Devin Booker's new deal is no exception. From Reddit threads to Twitter debates, the basketball world has been buzzing with takes, jokes, and plenty of questions about what this means for the Suns' future. Let's start with the fans. On Reddit, Suns diehards are mostly thrilled. They see this as a sign that Booker truly wants to be here for the long haul. One fan summed it up perfectly. Only Suns fans could be mad that one of their best players actually wants to stay. Another wrote, Steve Nash made $147 million in his entire career. Booker's about to do that in 2 years. Wild times. It's a mix of pride and disbelief at just how far salaries have come. On Twitter, NBA insiders and fellow players were quick to congratulate Booker. Shams Charania broke the news first. Then everyone from legends to current stars jumped in. Players like Trae Young and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who've signed similar deals, dropped supportive emojis and subtle reminders that these sky-high numbers are the new normal for elite guards. But the reactions aren't all positive. Some fans and pundits are worried Phoenix is backing itself into a corner, paying one guy huge money without a proven co-star in place. On sports talk shows, you'll hear takes like, he's wasting his prime in Phoenix, or the Suns are stuck in NBA purgatory, not bad enough to tank, not good enough to win it all. Even Charles Barkley, who knows a thing or two about the Suns coming up short, joked, "You better hope that kid can play 48 minutes a night." Local Phoenix media, however, are mostly defending the deal. They see it as the only option. You don't let your homegrown superstar even sniff free agency. They point to the Suns' past mistakes, letting Amare Stoudemire walk, not fully backing Nash, and say this time, they had to pay up and figure the rest out later. It's also sparked a bigger conversation about loyalty in the modern NBA. So many stars jump ship for bigger markets or quick rings. But here's Booker, doubling down on the team that drafted him, for the third time. To some fans, that loyalty means more than any stat line. At the end of the day, the reactions prove one thing: Booker is box office. Whether people agree with the deal or not, everyone's watching what happens next. And that brings us to the big question. What does come next for Booker and the Suns? Let's wrap this up by looking at what's at stake. Chapter 6. Looking ahead, the stakes for Booker and the Suns. So, where do Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns go from here? The extension is signed, the ink is dry. Now comes the hard part, proving it was the right call on the court. With Booker locked in through 2030, the Suns have their leader and centerpiece, but they're stepping into one of the toughest Western conferences we've ever seen. Think about it. You've got Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets still at their peak. Luka Doncic's Mavericks just made another deep run. Victor Wembanyama is only getting scarier in San Antonio. And that's not even counting the young Thunder or the always dangerous Warriors. So the question isn't whether Booker is worth the money. He is. It's whether the Suns can surround him with the right pieces to compete. Can Jalen Green mature into a reliable second star? Can new coach Jordan not get the best out of a young, hungry core? Can they find enough defense and depth to handle a grueling 82-game season plus a playoff grind? This next stretch will define Booker's legacy as much as his stats ever could. He's got the loyalty badge checked. 3 extensions, all with the same team. He's got the scoring accolades. But the one thing missing? A ring. That 2021 Finals run was special, but it ended with heartbreak. Ever since then, the Suns have been in almost mode, almost deep enough, almost healthy enough, almost ready. Now, they're betting that a new approach will break that cycle. Instead of overloading on aging superstars like Durant or CP3, they're building a longer runway with young pieces who can grow alongside Booker's prime years. It's risky, but the old plan didn't get them over the hump either. As for Booker himself, he said publicly that he wants to finish his career in Phoenix. If he pulls that off and brings home the franchise's first NBA title, his jersey won't just hang in the rafters. He'll be an Arizona legend for life. Of course, loyalty only goes so far in the business of winning. If the next few years don't deliver, the pressure will mount. Fans will question the money. Pundits will speculate about trades. That's just life at the top of the NBA food chain. So as Suns fans celebrate this extension, they know the real work is just beginning. The question now is simple but massive. Can Devin Booker, with the right team around him, finally lead Phoenix to the promised land? Only time, and a lot of playoff battles, will tell.